Now we're going to use VCO2 in tracking mode. So I'm taking it out of LFO and turning on the CV here. And I'm going to tune it to VCO1 right now. That's the two VCOs tracking together. There's VCO1. There's VCO2. Two of them together. Now if you have them pulse, they're slightly detuned. If you have this one pulse width modulate the other one, you get some. That's a square out. That's the triangle. My triangle is much closer to a real triangle than Korg's is. Korg's triangle out is pretty funky looking wave. Add some sub-os. That's got a little bit of all the inputs now. VCA now by number 2, controlled by Oscillator 2. generator. Okay, let's check the sync out. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the CV and we're going to tune it to everything down here. We'll put that to 1, that to 1. So you can hear we got a single tone coming out of 2 right now. Only the filters. Now, if we put the sync up, you can have a completely hard sync or somewhere in between soft sync. To get a little modulation, trying to sync. Not quite there yet. Now it's completely synced. Here's one more sample where I've got the tracking on, but I'm not tuned exactly to the same notes as this, so it's like a couple notes detuned. So this is just VCO1, VCO1 being pulse width modulated, and VCO1 going through the sub-os, and I've got VCO2 I'm going to add now. You can see the effect of having 2 oscillators that track, but slightly off tune. Here I've got VCO2 tuned an octave higher than VCO1, so if I start it, you'll only hear VCO1 coming through. It's just VCO1 in the rhythm. Just VCO1. This is an octave higher. Here's another example of using this switch that alters the control voltage to the VCA. One thing to note that if you have the switch thrown to VCO2, so that's controlling the VCA, for example, we put it over here, and if I would turn up VCO1 now, when there's no notes being played by the sequencer, you're going to hear the Korg doing this auto-tuning it does in between notes when it actually plays. So if I turn that up, that is the Korg CPU doing its auto-tuning because there are no notes being played, and when there's no notes being played, it interjects this auto-tuning all the time. So it's kind of an interesting effect. You could use it sometimes for a few things, but it's mostly something you wouldn't want. Sometimes it's nice to throw it in there. But in this case, since we don't have the sequencer running, and we don't want that, we're going to keep VCO1 off. We got VCO2 set to a single tone. So if I turn that up now, even though there's no notes being played on the sequencer, you're going to hear the single tone. Right? Now if I start the sequencer going so that it's running the EG, I can use the EG to modify the pulse width modulator, which is also got VCO2 as the input source. So if I start this running and I start to add pulse width modulation here, add a little sub-os. Now with the sequencer running, we can also add rhythm. Now we could add some frequency modulation. Well, first it's just filter modulation. If we throw this up, we'll get some frequency modulation.
Okay.